Welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott wave update for MATIC. Now, before I get into this, just wanted to let you guys know I opened up a Twitter or X account. You can see it on screen there. It is at caching_waves. There'll also be a link in the description and the pinned comment. And I'm using that just as repost for the videos. So if you're not on YouTube all that much and you're on Twitter and you don't want to miss an update, you can check out the videos from there as well. All right, so let's get into this count. And I need to discuss a couple things on this one, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to navigate this myself as I am in a position. So first of all, the problems with our ABC in red, we have to talk about the evidence we have here. Our ABC in red, we didn't hit the 1-to-1 extension at 64.7 cents. We did come into an area where this can be a B wave or an X wave, where this is a 3, 3, 3 to the upside, and then we're looking for a connecting wave for this A wave after this completes. That's the trouble when we don't hit the 1-to-1s and we're right in that zone. We have to consider that a viable option. So we have to kind of be on guard to look for a move to the downside. Now what that would look like, the 1-to-1 extension, it would be either an ABC or a WXY. The only difference being in a Y wave, this is 3 waves. In a C waves, this is 5 waves. But target is the same. So that's the important thing. We'll be paying attention to what happens after the fact. Now I am still bullish on this. I don't want to say this is my point of view now. This is my alternate. If the trade fails, I need to know what's happening if my primary is incorrect. So if my primary is correct, we have 3 waves in. We're looking for our 4th and our 5th. If it gets invalidated, I'll explain that on the micro, but basically we switch probabilities when we pass the 50% retracement of this move, and I have moved my stop up to the 618 retracement, just like I did with dog with hat, if you watch that video. So I'm going to talk about how I'm going to play this area because it looks pretty impulsive to the downside. That can change, but I have to be aware that this move is potentially happening down to 69.94 cents or 70 cents-ish. And that's just the W wave off our X for our Y, projecting a 1-to-1. And if that's the case, then our wave 2 just moves over and we're looking for upside after the fact. Doesn't change my point of view on the larger view, it's just we need one more low. So let's talk about both those counts on the lower time frames. This is one of the less probable ones in my point of view, just because of the ugliness of the wave count. If you watch my last video, I'm more following fibs, and we did hit the 3rd wave fib at the 1.618. So obviously our 4th waves, we look for between the 382 and the 50 to hold. And we're like right at that area. Like I said, I moved all my entries that were over here to the 618, and you go with the closer of the two, the further away of the two, depending on exchange you're on. On Binance, it would be 85.72. That's where my kind of last stand is to consider this count in play. So what I'd be looking for here is a pretty deep B if we're in a 4th wave, right? A pretty deep B as a recovery, and then targeting the 1-to-1 like so. And then I would expect this to make its 5 waves up to complete, up to around 111, the 200%, maybe a little above. And then I'd be looking for this and possibly either take profit at this 5th or add to my entry here, raising my stop. So knowing that that's the bullish scenario, that we need a wave to the upside and a 1-to-1, most likely, as a zigzag, because it does look impulsive. How do we fail? Well, that would be this WXY I mentioned, where this is a 3. This has to be relabeled as a 3. It's a WX, and this is an ABC completed. 535. That's the trouble with third waves sometimes, is they can also be an ABC. We only have a 535. So until we get that probability shift, when we get 5 waves to the upside, then we're unsure, right? We don't know. We're in no man's land. So for that reason, again, my stop has been moved up to the 618, but it's also an opportunity to hedge, depending where you got in. If you got in this area, say your stop's up here, you're well in the profit, probably almost 2 units if you get stopped out. Let's do that just for sake. So say you got in right in this area, even a little higher, we'll call it, depending how good your entry was, if you targeted the one-to-one or just the double bottom. Your stop would go to the 618 and either up a couple units. Oh, what happened there? I lost my bottom end. There we go. If that was your original entry, sorry, you'd be up about just under 1 unit if you get stopped out. So that's how I'm managing that trade myself. I am holding it long term. I really like the setup for MATIC. I do not this individual trade, but I did DCAN. That is one of the coins I hold long term that I'm not trading in and out of. Just for your own personal information. But okay, so say our top is in, and this is an ABC complete. Came to the 1.618. Not the most common. We usually come to the 1.1 or the 1.236 and 1.382. So that is evidence that this is probability side that this is a third wave. Our counter evidence is this is an impulse, right? So you're never confident when you get a move like this off a high. We need a pretty deep B wave and then target that 1-to-1 to stay above that 50. The most probable area for our fourth. So what I'm going to do here, my stop here for the long is right here in profit. What I'm going to do down at the 15 minute is pay attention on the next move. This is something you have to do if you watch the charts yourself. So if we get, it's all dependent on the next wave. So say we get a 3-wave 1-to-1 move. Something like this. We're in the same issue where this could be a 1-2-1-2 or an ABC. You can see you're always going to have those issues when you have a 1-2-1-2 or an ABC. But how I will hedge this, I'm going to leave my long open, stop at this level, at the 618. But what I will do is, if we get this ABC to the upside, I'm not going to take it no matter what. I'm saying if we get what looks like a corrective 3-wave move into our most common areas between the 50 and the 618, and it's starting to fail, even aggressively, I will have a short entry here trigger me in short side as a hedge. Only after we get a 3-wave move and it rejects hard. This is how I'm going to hedge the other way. And what that will look like is the break of this B wave. That's usually the area I take it. Is the break of the B wave. Short. A couple ticks below the B wave. And my stop will go at that C wave high. So unless this happens pretty much identical to this, I'll just be long. If this happens, I'll hedge short. And if we start getting an impulse to the downside, I get triggered out on my long, but I'm up pretty significantly on the short. It's basically an area of break-even profit, right, all the way down. Because as I'm coming down, my short's making money. As it's coming down, my long is losing money. So it's like neutral up and down money at this point. But once I get triggered out, say this keeps going, then my short's open, looking for that 3 or 5 waves to the downside. I'm not trying to overcomplicate this, but it's a very good strategy when you're in these areas where both things can be happening. So that's how I'm going to play that short. And if it ends up hitting, you know, that ends up being a 4-to-1. I made money on my long side, about that 0.9 units you saw from here to here to the 618. And I was profiting on the short side the whole time here. The only thing you have to be aware of is you're paying double fees, right? If you trade with leverage. But it's a short period. It's only a day or two, right? So not a huge deal. So that's what I would expect to happen. Wait for the 618 retracement, see a 1-to-1. And if you see that playing out, I'm triggering my entry below that B wave. But if we just get if that ends up just being a 1-2, 1-2, this should get protected and we just start going, right? But that's how I'm planning on playing that. And if I don't get that sort of correction, I'm not too worried about it. If we get like a nice clean 5 waves up to here, I'd be like, okay, we're making a B wave. And we come up ABC for our B and just letting that one run out on itself as an ABC zigzag. And probabilities would shift as soon as we pass the 618, right? Because if this is a 1-2, we expect the most common areas between the 382 and the 618 to pivot. So I hope this was educational. Maybe open up your mind on ideas of how to trade. These are things I'm always considering at important areas myself in my trading. But we'll see which one we get. But either way, I have a plan of what to do next. Well, hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, let me know. Make sure to like and subscribe if you are not, if you want the updates. And I will see you on the next one.